but that you've kind of done this reset. And I'd like you to tie for our listeners that action, that skill, that muscle with your work with your company, Cope Notes, kind of like walking you into this because I'm prepared to talk about Cope Notes, but this is a tool, a mechanism, a vehicle, if you will, to handle moments like that. Share a little bit about that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about, if there's anything that the last year has taught me. So I just shared with you before we started filming that I lost my home in a hurricane about 6 months ago. And that is a classic example of a situation that you cannot change. Like, I can't go recover these keepsakes, these things that mattered so much to me, like belongings. People who didn't lose their home say, well, it's just physical stuff. It's all can be replaced. It's all material. And I go, no. I got a pin from someone who survived a school shooting when I was traveling. And I wanted to keep that pin for the rest of my life. And now I don't have it. There's real things that I lost. And my initial reaction when I lost everything is I want to change the circumstance. I want to make that storm unhappen. And just like if you're in New York City and there's buses and people honking and shouting, you want to change that. You're like, I want it not to smell this way. I want there to not be these people screaming at each other in the sidewalk. I want there not to be dog poop right in front of me. But because you can't change those things, it becomes really essential that you build the skill of changing the way that you interpret and respond to those things. So basically at Cope Notes, the whole idea is we are interrupting that chaotic workday, the stressful cramming for an exam, the argument with your spouse. We are interrupting those day-to-day stressors with these tiny little bursts of health education content, like psychology facts or journaling prompts and exercises. And what that does is pick you up out of that automatic negative thought for all of 10 seconds. It's just a brief interruption. And what that does over time, with enough consistent random interruption, it actually helps your brain form new neural pathways associated with coping skills and resilience.
And the key there, it's done randomly, right? So you're not getting it every day at 9 a.m. or,
Correct.
It's different days, different times of different days and all that. So it occurred to me, somebody signs up for the service or they receive these interruptions at random times, and they're, very brief and short, and they're designed to, interrupt, extricate, throw you off balance in a good way, kind of, do a reset, if you will. But even then, people might receive it and ignore it.
Oh, yeah. What I think is really cool. So a couple things. First, the random timing is really important because the brain clings to novelty. If we sent you a text every single day at the exact same time, there would be so much less novelty that your brain could tune it out through habituation, which is like right now I have an air purifier running over there and I forgot because my brain tuned out, it habituated that information. It was like, you need to know that that's making a noise. So what I love about the random timing is that it drives novelty. But what I love about the health education part, Seth, is that even if you read the message and don't respond, even if you read it passively, we've had people text us a month later and say, I don't even remember reading that text in the moment, but I experienced something stressful about a month later and I knew to use that coping mechanism. So it must have lodged itself in my brain somewhere as an available option for the next time I became distressed. So there is a really cool there's the conscious engagement, which we encourage people to like read that message and think about it. But there's also this unconscious engagement where a month or two later, you might experience something and then remember, oh, I got a text about this months ago. Why do I know this information?